Welcome to TotheWord, and we're going to begin importing. This is using the Regex rule system, which I recommend watching the different introductory videos on that, maybe the Bible side of it. And we're going to start digging in with the import side of things. One of the best ways that I have found is to find the table of content. You're maybe not going to keep it around, but it'll help you look for key words, if you would, that should be topics or subtopics or links, etc. So we have publisher's preface. So let's go ahead and I'm going to close a few of these. And I'm going to go into, okay, so here's the file for this book, Martyr's Mirror, and we're going to look for publisher's preface. So this appears to be the table of contents, which we're already on. Go back in here, let's go to 2. And you see translator's preface. So let's look in there again. Publisher might be on the same page. No. Let's look in here. Perhaps it is down in here, or maybe it's before table of content. But needless to say, the translator's preface will get us kind of going. Let's get another one, invocation. And there's invocation. Okay, so we got a couple of ideas of where those are at. So I'm going to go into the actual file itself. We're going to look at HTML now. And look for, I like to use EditPad Pro. Like I said, Notepad++, will work, different things. And now I'm looking for the tags that point to what it would be. And here it is. The H2 tag appears to be a main tag. So I'm going to hit Control-C. I'm going to go into my Regex editor. Remember, we did make a file for the Regex earlier. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so we're going to go in here and we're going to go into the Martyr's Mirror folder, open that Regex file. Okay, let's put a couple comments in here. Regex rules for Martyr's Mirror. And comments are a great way to keep your mind alerted to what changes you've made or what you've done through this module. We do not need the ignore for now. We'll just put in another one. If you hit, by the way, I'm just using some quick keystrokes. A single backslash will introduce a comment. A single quotation mark introduces a new rule, and so on. If you haven't looked at the Regex rule videos from this one or the Bible or the introductory, please do. We may not dig into this as much as far as how Regex rules work, simply because to repeat that whole session is beyond our scope at this point. So do some work. Once again, you can get into your help, get into your Regex help. This is a basic, quick understanding of Regex. I would look into that. Your options, once again, are right here, and you'll see those options available here. Once again, you have in your new special open, get into some Regex rules, links inside the same book. Not as much the Regex rules, there's a little bit in here. Let's go into, you have your Regex editor help. That's what you're going to need to look at for a bit. You got a plain text search. That's where Regex is off. You search and replace it. There's no Regex in there. Looks like this. Special note. You can get into a few special tags. Your Regex rules. Basic. It's just a simple, really super basic Regex search replace. Yeah, that does it. 3 tabs as you can get into your Regex options rules. And then you have some special advanced ones, repeat until no match, etc., or Regex off. And these are, then here's this one's inside the brackets. Your 4th tag is down here. Your Regex rules, you get into a little bit further, the Regex search inside. If you remember the previous video, check that out. Okay, so remember, I have my EditPad Pro. I said it's an H2. So I like to copy these out, Control-C, put them as a comment. And I'm going to say convert to topic. So like this. We're just doing a basic topic. And all I want to do remembering my regex, it's easy if you copy this in, put it into here, into your format. Remembering your regex here, you don't always have an ID on these. If you want to, you can, but since I don't know if we will always have an ID, I put it like this, and basically, without getting into it, everything but the greater than sign, or less, yeah, greater than sign, and star means more than one or none, basically. And we do not know if we have anything in here. We can do everything up to the less than sign, which is not a bad one. However, if you have a bold in there, then it would fail. So we want to go back. It's not my best one, but this regex is a dangerous one, but can be helpful, the parenthesis one. And up to here. Now, going in, we're going to convert this in. We're going to go into a P. Remember, we have a basic one. Let's see, what do we want a P as? Do we want any basic paragraph divisions or CSS in there, like style? Style equals. And this is a good one to have in there. Let me go in and grab out another. That's a book I've been working on. It has some wonderful style repeats. Perhaps this will work its way into the help file one day. Maybe it won't. Well, let's see here. Jump down into. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Let me get that file. And I'll see here. You'll see. Ooh, there's a lot of goodies in this file. But I'm going to go down to what I want. This is just a recent book we worked on, and okay. This is one of the reasons I really like Notepad, is it has a built-in regex editor, and I love using it for searching. Okay, not that one. Get into another one here. Okay, and we do not want center. You can see a few styles with center. We want this guy right here. And what this is going to do is bring it into our, the CSS will actually do a lot of that for us. Let's try it without it this time. Okay, minimize this down. We'll just try it out without. Okay, so continuing on now, we like to have our topics in bold and put this guy in. Remember that //tw converts that tag up. It only works for the tags that we've already specified. And I'm going to put this in here. Close that bold, close that paragraph. Okay, very good. We shouldn't need any multi-line or single line. Multi-line is if you need to use the start of a line or the end of a line. Single line is taking the whole file as a single line, which then allows you to use the dot character throughout and look for return, new character line, etc. Okay, let's go ahead and hit save. File save. Go into our book editor. No, you just ignore that for now. And go in and load our regex rules. And go to Martyr. Okay. Now let's just try that out. Remember, we just worked with, I believe, 3 maybe. Let's try, or 2. So now we have our translator's preface. Now note, do you remember where that was located at? It was actually located, I believe, in center. Let's go back in here and open a file. Nope, we want to go open new. And some things we want to keep similar to the original format if we can. So I believe that was 3. Okay, and it was centered. Okay, so then that means let's go back into our regex editor. And we want to go style equals. Remember, we had a file open right here. And I'm going to just, this good one for our needs. Okay, and go back in here. I'm going to do that P. Okay, so I'm going to actually do center. You could do bold in here, like via font weight, but the bold tag is pretty simple to use. And we want center is what we said. So save it again. Book editor, ignore that. All that is kind of refreshing some things, and it's just what it is for now. Go to 3. We got invocation in the middle. Okay, this title is added on. There will be times where you need to remove it, but it's because a book must start with a topic. Okay, so we got that one. Let's try another. Let's see if we have any subtopics that we need to work with. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can re-import it into the Word if you want. You can also, you bring the book up. With an EPUB, you can also just simply jump in, and it will double click it, and it will open up in like Google Chrome, etc. So get your preface again. We have this paragraph right here, and coming down through, looking at that. One other thing I noticed, and I wanted to verify on the page. We got our text decorations. We got our padding. I'm looking forward to see if I have an alignment. No, it doesn't seem to be. Okay, very good. So then let's continue on. Let's go back in, open up the next file down. Okay, introduction summary of the name of Anabaptist, title. Okay, so these seem to be a subtopic. And if they're big enough, we want to put them into double subtopics. So let's do them for links for right now. Okay, so that was the file we just opened was 5. We'll go into 5. Just open it with EditPad Pro. You can, by the way, you could use the Bible editor to open this as well. And we're going to minimize this. We're going to kind of look at this introduction. And then there's a H3, so the H3 one. So we just copied out an example. Okay, go back into the Regex editor. And you can use different Regex editors. Notepad++, EditPad Pro also is a good way to do that. Copy that in there, and then we're going to convert to link. Okay, so get your little guy in there. This one seems to be centered, but let's not bold it since it is also they have uppercased it. So we're not going to bold it. Center as well. And take out the bold. And we said link. And link needs a closing tag. So, and then remember how I did the caret sign. So let's go in here and caret every character but up to rather greater than star. And once again, we'll do this just in case there's a bold. Oops, that should be. And let's try that out. Hit save. Book editor. And we will look at 5, what that looks like. We have a stop. What in the world happened? Okay, let's go in there. Looks like we've missed something. So you go in here and you look at it. Did we mess up our... Is there a tab here, as there should be? Okay, that's good. We have the end. We go through. did I get this tag right? Okay, that looks good. This one goes to H3. That's good. We have a S1. If your link, this should actually be a doubled, because whatever's inside the link will eventually be hidden. There's the end of a page. We have an extra bold. You don't want that extra bold. It seems to be messing us up. So we're going to double check. Let's go load that number 5 again. Was it that double bold? There we are. So it seems to fix that. So we have a link. We have another one of the Anabaptist. So we got the first one, but we didn't get the second one. So go in, look in your file, scroll down, and remember I said I like this is all tabs. So scroll down. That seems to be a 4. Seems to be, we could change that if we wanted, but for now, we're going to keep a, we're going to do a, so we are doing just a 4 in here instead. Question is, should that be and we'll just copy this out. Sometimes you'll note that it is actually on 2 separate lines. That can be a problem. That is the problem here. So that will be a problem. So it's on 2 separate lines. So what we need to do then is, because it's on 2 separate lines, we need to go in here, double click this line and hit it into single. Now the tricky part about a single line is they can take a lot longer, because remember it broke down the book into an entire single line, which means much more characters for the engine to wrestle with. But let's go into chapter 5. And we have our links in the correct area. We'll just double check this one. Should be a duplicate there at the end of it. Okay. And by the way, this should be extracted. If the link is not extracted from the topic text, that's something you're going to have to break out. And I believe it won't be. So we need to jump down to that of the names of Anabaptist. Let's go in there. Open our file. And scroll down to let's see, here we go. 4. And there is a footnote. We need to extract this portion out. We do not want that in there. Seems to have it under a span. We don't really care about this span, but we need to, because it's right up against this. Okay. So how do you, now what do we do? Okay, so we don't really completely want to ditch it. We just don't want it in the first portion. So that means go in here and we will create a, let's just copy this example out. And this one gets a little bit more tricky, because if you do this over a long sentence, it's going to look for that. So we do not want, on the ones that are single line, so to speak, which means all the file as a whole line, we do not want those in there. So go in here, duplicate this, take out this RO single line. We may have a problem that we'll have to wrestle with later on this, but it is what it is. So, and we need to go into here, and this, we've got a span class again. So we're going to go here. here. Okay. And we have the A. And then that will be A up to here, and that'll come to another A. Closing the span. Okay, so that should grab this particular portion. And that should go to right here to the closing the span. We'll double check that. We want it here in this, but not in the first link. Okay, so go into a book editor. We're going to go down and see if it brings in the link, but only in the section we want it in. So go down to 5. Okay, scroll back up, look for that footnote link, and we don't have it there. Very good. That's good for us for now. That, remember, we could have introduced a problem, so we'll have to be careful with that. Okay, continuing on, I noticed something here. Not 100% certain. So you see over here, the captious I cannot escape. Is that in the right alignment? So let's go in here. Open up your Bible text. I mean your book. And so down here. So you notice how it's really indented. So let's go back in here, look in their file. Let's look at this. This using something like this. And by the way, like I said, you can use the Bible editor as well. So I'll show you how that could be used, because it does have a regex engine also. Just works a little different, not as quick. The purpose of it is to convert to in files to the Word, not to be a regex editor. So looking back at this engine, I'm going to just copy this out because I want to grab that text. Go into the find and replace, boom, go to the top. Make sure I don't want any regex characters in there, hit F3. So it has verse indent 0000. Okay, so there's a verse indent 0. So it's a divide class. That means apparently, go into here. So you see we have a divide class. I'm going to actually, you got your padding, you got your indent. I would like the font to stay the same, but that's about it. So I'm going to separate the divide class into a different area. And actually, you know what? Let's just narrow this down. We don't need every. Okay, let's put this in here. Let's just try it without that. Let's see what happens if I just take out that. Okay, hit save, and when we take the divide class out of the CSS there, let's go in here as well. Similarly, copy that out. Not 100% certain where this tag is at. And this is where CSS is helpful, but takes a little bit to kind of wrestle with. Get these out and hit save. Okay. Make sure we save the other one. Close this guy. Okay, let's see what happens if it was just a CSS issue. Book editor. We're not getting the spacing like we need. Now, let's go back in. And for now, it's going to take it out completely. And we're going to try both the divide ones, that is. See if that gives us what we need. Okay, hit save. Save. Make sure there's no div in there, and no division in there. Okay, open again. doesn't seem to have changed that. It does seem to have not kept the font. So let's go back in. And this is where it kind of gets like, is it doing what we want it to do? So go back into here. I'm going to put divide back. I'm going to go into here. Put divide back. Save, save. And what we're going to do is just take all these out for now, just temporarily. Just temporarily to test out a theory. So we want to get all that. If it's in here, get all this again. Is it our CSS or is it just not coming in right? Go into the file, open, and if it's just not coming in right, well, you know, that's not hard for us to adjust into maybe a different type of formatting. It does not appear to be us. It appears to be the CSS not getting quite brought in right. So we'll just adjust that. Adjust this one. Okay, so now remember in the file itself, go back into the Bible editor. If you remember, we went down to the cautious escape, and it was a div class. Indent 0. So there's ways you can get into this. It's supposed to be a poetry container. That's probably what's going down. We could get into it. It says a stanza. We could go and adjust it directly, the verse indent. So let's try that one first. And we'll just say, you know, we could either do it as a center. I seem to do it in a center way. But not completely. How does that work? Oh, it's like a table. Interesting. So what we can do in this scenario, go into the Regex editor, and you would go in here and just go something like this poetry class needs fixed. And we can come back if it's something we really want to wrestle with later. And basically what I would suggest is doing like a page, paragraph style, and add in a margin for the left maybe, or do a center, maybe do a table. A table with a center column, perhaps, might be an idea. Like 3-column table with a center division would be a possibility. So continuing on now, let's continue down in here, going down through this. We have these two on the bottom. Let's make sure those are at least imported right. In here, number 5, and they seem to be decent. So these guys will have to come back and look at. I am really tempted, and I believe it would be easy. Okay. Yeah, let's just do this one for now. See what we can do here. Like we said. It's a poetry. We do not need the links in there. Okay, and let's do text align left. And let's just do a margin left. Let's do 20 pixels. Try it out. Go into your book editor. Number 5. And there we are. And it gives it a little bit of an indentation and kind of helps with some of that. right off. Okay, just to give it, it's not perfect, but it gives the concept that we need. Okay, let's go into the 6th file. Seems to be decent. Okay. This would be similar to what we've already been doing. Notice though, there are chapter references, books in there. So let's just try it out. And go new special open, go into number 6. And this one seems to have a second confession. So there seems to be a file, something going on in there. First confession, second confession. Personal succession. We do have links on those. We don't have this one though. What is that? Of the Church of God, its origin, progress, and story. Okay. Went into there. So there's 2 things we can do here. We did something earlier in the Regex editor. I noticed, so we put in this single line. I really do not like that concept. Let's take this out. And I'm going to also put a question mark here, because that means possible or not possible. What I would prefer to do is clean up. So we're going to clean up H tags. And that is much safer to do H1. And I will give you a file that gives an example. Actually, I've done it in another type of file. Pull it up and it'll give you an idea of what to do when you have there are times where you do not want a return in there, or a carriage line, new line or carriage return inside of a file. It simply causes too many problems between 2 formatting markers like paragraphs, or in our situation, the H tags. So I'm going to actually go through and we're going to clean this up. And it's a little bit more, it slows things down, but it is better. So we do not want, it's not a P we're looking for a H1 to H1. And we're just going to do just like that. It's safer to do them individual like this. So 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. We've seen 4 so far. Let's do 5 just in case. 5. And I like to do this when I need to at times. And so let's try that out. Okay, save. Book mode, book editor. No. Remember, we've had this problem on the 6th one. Let's see how long it takes to do these. Being smaller files, they shouldn't be too bad. It can take a bit though. Especially since that repeat until none, that really slows down items. But it fixed our problem. And it's worth it. Like I said, there are some verses in references. So if you turn on special detection, these are all the guys you can turn on. Append to special is if you want to keep adding files. Edit file kind of gives you what it looks like before verse detection, like what your changes look like. And I will show you that in a second. We'll turn that on. I'll show you what regex rules looks like, and go in to turn this on. Should be it. Now all those items should be turned on. We'll do number 6. And away it goes. And we get a little bit of a drink here while we're doing that. can take a bit. It's going down through that file, does different things. You can see on the bottom, it's telling you it's loading down here, working through the file and what's going on. We're going to probably take a break at this point. I'm going to continue to load. I want you to see the detect references first. And you can see they're scattered throughout. Sometimes when you don't see one like that, that probably means, if I hit F5 on that, it's a bad reference. Something's missing in that context. So, okay. Going up, some of them like Syriac, Wisdom, those are apocryphal books and so not included in the King James, which is something connected to the Word. And not that we're King James only, not in that sense at all, but in the sense of we use King James versification. Okay, so what I'm going to do is their second confession. We were kind of going to wrestle with that. For now, though, I want to show you something really powerful, because we know that these take longer. I'm going to turn them off. I want to go file none. So that turns those off for a second, and then file all. As soon as you press the bracket, it enables that. So now we're going to still have that one problem again, but our file will be much faster. It'll load in a matter of moments. And then, like I said, I want to show you a few items here. Okay, doing the detection. Okay, very good. I wanted to show you these files. Let me bring them up. So in here, we turned on the edit file, and this is what it looks like after we've edited it. It looks like this after we've edited it. Comes down through, you can see, this is one of those missed lines because of that. But we have a paragraph with our links and all that. You see the -TW, very good. And then another one with references. If we go down through, it'll actually show you what it looks like, the word references look like right there. Okay, and then lastly, these are matches, and it counts your regex rules. So these are all off, shouldn't be any of those. These are good ways to test, maybe to speed things up. 0 here on this one of the H2, H3. There are 14 H4, and there are 0 of this divide class. Let's see which one of these rules match here. I'm going to go in, turn on, let's go into the regex editor again. I'm going to turn these back on. Okay, now go back into book editor. You have to make sure to save your regex rules every time. It's going to slow down for a bit, but that's okay. We want to see, because we want to actually see what ones are being used. Because the H5 might not even exist. Though the test is best done on all the books. I'm just trying to think about, I believe, trying to think about if the repeat until none can be done, if we could just have a H 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 1, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. Okay, so now let's go into our rule map matches. Okay. So in here we see 2 and 1420 apparently on number 4. It must have kept refixing that one, which takes a while. It goes through until there's no matches, which is very fine. That's what we wanted. So now we're going to check we're going to do another test. Go back into our regex rules. This one I do not recommend. So we're going to try a new one. Turn this off. Hit this, go up in here. We're just seeing if it would work. I believe it will it will go very long, and it will not do what we want. we want to actually turn off these. I want to see what it does to the edit file, because sometimes it could keep looping. Let's close these guys out. There should only be a matches file. So we'll just let it run for a bit. We might have to turn it off because what potentially, well, maybe not. The dot star question mark could cause a info loop. Basically, keep going and going. You see what it did? It's not bad, but it's not good. It pulls all of the H numbers. It basically made it in. Oh, it made it into several lines. What's the break here? F11? Oh no. And no, it didn't. What did it do? It brought all that down. Yeah. I was afraid it would do that. That was afraid. I was afraid it would do that. So it put them all on the same line, essentially. Which, okay, it's not a bad thing. It's an okay thing. Let's go back in here to Regex editor. Because of that, then we want to actually go and go to this, the P, and we want to put in another P, but we also want to put in a new line. And we are going to just reset line. And what this does is just makes it, we go RO single line, and it brings it back on. Okay, so now go back into the book editor. So it speeds things up apparently, and it makes it easier on us, but now we need it as a new. Okay, through that, we still need the paragraph division. I mean, the returns actually help it kind of keep going faster. So let's look in here again. Now, what do we have? I'm looking in our editing file. Let's reload. And it should put them all. Now, paragraph division should all be on their own lines. And you can see if there's any other guys. That helps out. The other one is if we wanted to, sometimes let's pull those paragraph divisions out. It has some too. We're going to do this one. And we want these guys all on the same line too. Okay. Let's get this going. And then it resets it down here. Back into book. And this just kind of pulls the references all together, because you remember we were saying, well, that could be because of like I said, to Isaiah, oh, that might be a bad reference. It may not. It may simply have been on a break, and so part of it was hanging off. I believe it was down in here someplace. Yeah, for Isaiah 49:28. So I think that one was, though. Let's look at it. Yeah, that one was. But now let's look at our nice little edit file. Reload, and we should have every one of them should be on their own nice little line. That helps us a lot, honestly. Brings it all together. Okay, very good. Now, I'm going to actually, oh, that's right, we were going to do this guy. Keep forgetting about the second confession. Okay, go into the file itself. Close this out. I want to be on 6. Go into second confession. Oh, okay. There's a span class. Font size 140. That's interesting. Where's that at? That's 140. No. In here. All these font sizes. 80, 95, 90. Okay, so this is all our numbers. And sometimes you do, sometimes you want your fonts on different sizes. Sometimes you really don't. For now, we'll leave them alone. It would be better to have them all unified. And so instead of having font size this, especially the larger ones, smaller ones at time can be beneficial. We'll leave them alone for right now. That could be something to come back to. So you go in here and you can go in here, and I like to make the little list at the top. Check out FS140, maybe adjust size. This file 0. Okay. Well, wasn't there a one down here that could need fixed? Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and stop there. But you can see, I want to show you while it's going at it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just letting it go. Turn off that edit file. Turn on the detect. And pull in the whole book. Because you're going to see, if we get this in here, right? It doesn't take it will take a little bit. Turn that off. Get the cover. I don't like having that way out there by itself. So 154161. Rename. Let's get this. I want to get this out here. Get the same name, but we're going to call that one A and this one B. A. This one B. Because we need it brought in correctly. Okay, we bring all these in. I'm going to let this go, and boom, boom, boom. So you're watching it kind of build. You'll see some different things go through. It's loading the different files. There's 7 of 126, 8 now of 126. We're going to kind of let this run, and perhaps next time you'll get to see what it looks like in the Word. Hopefully this has been helpful, and God bless. Bye-bye.